welcome to the School of Real Estate Investing. Guys, today I got a very special guest with us today. She's from San Benito, Texas.
San Benito.
Right? We just found out that we have a similarity that's pretty neat.
Yes.
An interesting story about my guest, right? She and her family, they worked in the cotton fields. Despite all that, she was able to make her way all the way through Congress.
Yeah.
Right?
Amen.
And so, Mayra Flores, thank you so much for being
Thank you.
joining us today. And
It's my honor to be here.
Yes. Right away, I want to ask, what was it like being born in San Benito, Texas? Right? How was it growing up? How was it for a young girl like Mayra growing up in a city of like San Benito?
Well, I was actually born in Mexico.
Okay.
I was born in Burgos, Tamaulipas, Mexico, which is only a few hours away from here. I grew up in San Benito. I came here when I was 6 years old.
Okay.
My dad, being an American, was able to file for us to come here with no issues, no problem. But my mom, struggled with the idea of coming here to the United States. That's why it took a lot of convincing to come here to the United States. But eventually my mom understood that the opportunities for her daughters were here. So I moved here into the United States when I was 6 years old. But I was a migrant kid. So I did grow up in San Benito, Texas. But prior to that, actually the first school I went to was in Rio Hondo.
Rio Hondo.
Yes, second grade.
So I went to Rio Hondo too, right? So I always say once a Bobcat, always a Bobcat. So hopefully we get a lot of Rio
Great
Hondo
memories
peeps shouting out.
In Rio Hondo. Actually, most of my family still live in Rio Hondo.
That is, I got family there too, and they're still moving there, right? Which is awesome. Your father obviously worked incredibly hard, right?
Incredibly hard, yes.
What is a memory of your father that you carry?
Well, I had the honor of working alongside my parents. And looking back now, I'm so glad that I had that opportunity. Not a lot of kids, have an opportunity to work alongside their parents every summer. And so ever since I turned 13, 14 years old, I started working alongside my parents. We would go up in the Panhandle. There's a small town called Memphis, Texas. Not Memphis, Tennessee, Memphis, Texas. And it's an amazing, small country town where I have amazing memories. I went to school there as well in elementary. So 6 months out of the year, I would be here in South Texas. And 6 months out of the year, I would be in Memphis, Texas.
That's awesome.
And I have amazing memories here and in Memphis. And in Memphis is where we would go work in the cotton fields and remove all the weeds from the cotton every summer. And I was able to buy my school clothes with that. And I loved it because, I would be able to earn my own money and be able to do whatever I wanted. My parents gave me the freedom to spend my money, but I spend it pretty wisely, I think. I think so. And it was just an amazing opportunity to bond with my mom and my dad, especially with my mom, because she would wake up at 3:30 in the morning to make breakfast tacos and lunch for us. And then my dad would wake up and get everything ready for us. So for us to just get in the truck and let's go. Good. And I just have great memories, doing a lot of picnics because that's what it felt like.
Good.
Breakfast picnics out in the middle of nowhere. And then picnics during lunch as well. My dad would always get after me though because I was always daydreaming. I was always daydreaming and he would tell me, look back, you just forgot that weed. And he's like, you need to focus. And I'm like, no, I don't want to focus and think that I'm here. So I was always daydreaming, just cutting weeds
so obviously, right,
amazing memories.
You're daydreaming, right? When you're out on the field there.
Yes.
What did you dream about becoming? And
I always wanted to do media or be on TV.
Yes?
I wanted to be an actress, but like most kids.
Okay.
I used to watch a lot of telenovelas when I was little. I had no business watching some of these novelas, but I just grew up watching novelas, and I always wanted to be, an actress. But then later on in high school, I wanted to be in the medical field.
Yeah.
And that's what I eventually did. I got into the medical field.
Good. That's awesome. Well, like I said, I'm grateful that you've joined my podcast.
Of course.
The one thing that I'm really trying to get with our audience is two things, right? Because someone like yourself, right, very fortunate in the path that God has given you, right, with going to Congress, right, being surrounded with the different political, prolific individuals, right?
Absolutely.
There's this thing called social capital. And I think a lot of people, you and I are from the Valley, Mayra.
Yes.
We know we're from here, we're born and raised. Even the term social capital is something you don't even hear about.
No.
Right? And so what I want to focus on, especially for the audiences today, is one, social capital and how powerful that is. And what happens when Valley kids can get a hold of that. And number two,
it's the most powerful thing that I have.
Yeah. So that goes actually to my next question is...
More powerful than a sitting member of Congress, actually.
Yes. So how is it, I want to ask you this question, right? So you walked into the rooms in Washington where people probably know each other. Someone like yourself, right? Starting from zero, no money, no connections, right? How were you able to create those connections?
I just always walked in every room with confidence. Even if I didn't have the confidence, I faked it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go in there and be confident because I know that I have the ability to do this. And my mom and my dad raised me that way, to always know my worth. So I was always very confident. I was never afraid. I never felt afraid of going into these rooms. I knew that I had what it took to be in these positions. And I found that out right away because, throughout the years, I learned that we have been brainwashed here in South Texas and our entire community into thinking that these positions are only for certain people. And these positions are actually for people like us as well. And I actually think we would be better off if we had more of the everyday American running this country at the local level, at the state level, and at the federal level. You don't have to be a lawyer, and I don't mean to disrespect a lawyer, but you don't have to be a lawyer to be a member of Congress or to lead at the local level or at the state level.
Definitely very talented. Definitely very gifted, and it's amazing, right? Like,
Thank
very
you.
proud knowing just where you come from and what you've been able to accomplish. And I know you're only getting started.
Yes.
When I was a teacher years ago, I know like there's a lot of kids in the Valley that are very talented, yet they're invincible.
They don't know how talented they are. Sometimes we are our worst enemy. We don't know, all the good that we have inside of us. And the work ethic that our parents instilled in us, that itself is unmatched. I believe that the Hispanic community, especially the Mexican Americans, we are the most hardworking people in this country. And even though my politics might be controversial for a lot of people, I look beyond the politics. It doesn't define me. And yes, I'm Republican, but I'm more than that. My political views do not define who I am. And I'm able to also acknowledge how hard the Hispanic community works in this country, especially our culture.
And I would agree. The Valley folks are hardworking people. I got
absolutely.
Uncles work hard. Grandfather worked hard. Migrant workers, I can relate. Yet, the one thing that holds us back is social capital.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to a family
We don't
member.
have the connections.
Exactly. So how did you learn it? Like, how did you learn to get those connections? Like, did you watch it? And like, what did you learn
I
not
did my
to
own
do?
research. I
Okay.
did my own research. So I remember a lot of people told me, hey, that's so amazing that they recruited you. Nobody recruited me.
Mm-hmm.
The Republican Party did not recruit me to run. I ran on my own. I made that decision on my own. I did my research and I said, I'm going to run for Congress.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people actually told me that I didn't have what it took to run. One, because I was born in Mexico. Another, they said, what college did you go to? I said, I went to STC.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a real college.
Mm-hmm.
I said, yes, it is. I got the best education at South Texas College, and I'm very proud of it. I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't because of me becoming a respiratory therapist and having amazing professors like Miss Menard here at STC and all the amazing instructors at South Texas College. I don't need to go to a university to get a good education. I don't have anything against a university.
Exactly.
If you can go for it. But if you can afford going to STC, that's the school that I was able to afford. And I got my bachelor's degree at South Texas College, and I'm very proud of it. But a lot of people thought that's not sufficient to be a member of Congress. Mm-hmm. You need to have, a master's, or you need to go to these, more
Ivy League schools.
Yes. And I said, no, I don't. And I did it all on my own. Mm-hmm. I filed on my own. I paid for my own filing at the time. And then little by little, I started asking for donations on social media. Mm-hmm. It was all through Facebook, Instagram, and little by little, I started getting donations to help me fund my own campaign early on. And then, of course, the special election, when I became a member of Congress, that's what really, launched my career. Mm-hmm. But prior to that, I did it all on my own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that the willingness to step out,
that's it,
and the unknown is a very powerful trait you have.
I risked it all. Mm-hmm. I did. Yeah. I remember working as a respiratory therapist and having to, quit my job to fully dedicate myself to the campaign. And that was a difficult decision, but I knew it was the right decision to make. And I knew that if I got into Congress and had an opportunity to serve, a term, that would open a path to other people like me to be inspired to run for office as well. And that if Mayra can do it, so can I. That's what I wanted. I wanted little girls that look like me to know that they can too run for Congress and be a congresswoman.
That's good, Mayra. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I know you had mentioned your professor, right? You had mentioned somebody's name right
Ms.
now.
Menard.
Yeah. Who were some other individuals that you can recall that
She's the one that really, made an impact, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. She made the biggest impact at STC. Mm-hmm. She taught me a lot of discipline. Wasn't a big fan of her during my time that I was going to school because she was so strict, but is later on that I appreciated her because I became a better respiratory therapist and just a better human being and more responsible because of her ability to make us do certain things.
That's good. Yeah. I think we all have those people. I know that when you look at the social circles, say in Washington, as opposed to the social circles in the Valley, right? So me being a person in real estate, very different. People always say is, hey, they call you AJ, right? Like you got to know your circles. Mm-hmm. But I love my name, Aniceto. Like you know El Valle, like you know your people, right? Yeah. So what is the difference between the relationships that you have seen in the Valley as opposed to the relationships in DC, right? Because we want people from the Valley to understand what that social capital is. See, it's not the lack of hard work. So what have you seen, right? Like when you look at the relationships in the Valley as opposed to the relationships in DC, like what have you seen that's different?
Well, my connections improved in the Valley because of the connections that I have in Washington, but they're both just as valuable. The connections you have here in the Valley are not less valuable than the connections that you have in Washington. They're both very valuable. I actually value more the people that I know here in the Valley, because these are the people that you deal with on a daily basis if you need anything, especially your senators and their staff. I recommend everyone to be well connected, and you don't need to be in a special position to be connected with your senator and their staff. Like, go by your senator's office and find out who is his representative, just in case you need something. Because the amount of people that contacted me during the Israel attack on October 7, there's people from the Valley that had issues and that were stuck in Israel during that attack. And because they knew who I was, they contacted me. And because I had the connections, I contacted Senator Ted Cruz's office, Senator John Cornyn's office, and connected them to help them get him out of Israel during that attack of October 7th. And so it's important that you know who your representative is and who is representing your senator here in South Texas. You don't need to be in politics to know that. It's what's best for you and your family, just in case you're in a tough position, especially if you're abroad. You know, I had a pastor a few weeks ago that was traveling to Ukraine. She reached out to me and said, is there a way that you can connect me to the senator's office? I want them to know that I'm here in Ukraine, just in case something happens. I said, absolutely. Reached out to Senator Ted Cruz's office. Senator Ted Cruz's office connected with her. And what happened after that, I don't know. But they were able to talk and just make sure that they knew, what was going on. So that's important. She's not in politics. She's a pastor. So I think it's important that everybody understands that you do not need to be in politics to know who your representative is, and just be connected with their staff, especially just in case something happens and you're abroad.
Yeah, I think that in the Valley, right, and I see your audacity, right, your straightforwardness, when you're like, yeah, I'm just going to call this senator, I'm going to call, which is amazing, right?
And I want everybody to know that, you can as well, have that ability, especially their staff. Senator Ted Cruz's office is amazing. They have amazing staff here in McAllen.
And I think you're touching on something that's like really powerful is, while we know Ted Cruz is Ted Cruz, it's like, who his staff is, right? Yes.
And they don't just represent Republicans. They represent all people of Texas, and they will help you no matter what your situation is. And I want people to know that. It's important that people are aware that they can go to Senator Ted Cruz's office if they need to, and doesn't matter what their political affiliation is, Senator Ted Cruz's office will be there to help you.
It's so crazy because, like, you see, like, Ted Cruz and their office and their people, and a lot of times the way you get things done is by, whether it's social networking, right? Like a quinceañera's pretty much similar to setting up a campaign, right? Whereas in the Valley, like, Valley people won't trust you because of your title. It's like, what family are you from? Like, what city or what do you do, right?
I shouldn't be that way.
Right? And that's the thing that we, especially being from the Valley, because we're so accustomed to it, I think that's what hurts a lot of Valley kids.
Absolutely.
From breaking that barrier, right?
I've had families reach out to me in desperation that felt like they were crossing party lines. I've had people reach out to me, look, I'm not conservative, but I need help. How can I get the senator's office to reach out to me and help me in this position? I'm just, I'm not politically affiliated with the party. You don't have to be. I will absolutely connect. I've had countless messages like that on social media where they reach out to me. They don't agree with me politically, but they know that I will connect them to the right person to help them, regardless of what their political affiliation is.
That's really good.
Yeah, of course. That's the way it really is. A lot of people just get, deceived what they see on social media. But the reality is very different. We're there to support everyone.
And I think that, right, like you having the experience that you have, right, like there's a disconnect. Like so much talent in the Valley.
So much talent.
Never makes it to the hallways of Congress, or you got a lot of VP jobs, for example, right? And a lot has to do with the lack of social capital. And I think it has...
There's not that many Latinos that work in the Capitol, that serve. Juan Ciscamani made history. He became the first Mexican-American that was ever elected in the Republican Party back in 22. It was the first. There isn't that many. And so when I got to serve, I wanted people that were cleaning the halls of Congress to see that we can also be, serving in the House of Representatives, that we do it all. I have so much respect for people that clean, that serve, because I've done it all myself, my parents as well. But I want them to stop putting us in a box and that we can do it all. We teach. We're teachers. We're doctors. We're lawyers. We're farmers, ranchers, nurses. We do it all. We don't just do farm work. And they have labeled us as we only know how to do farm work. It's like, no, we do a lot more than just farm work and cleaning homes. And we're professionals too.
And it's just like really cool because like I think getting to meet you, talking to you and hearing you talk, right? Not just your confidence, right? But like your assurance of who you are. It's like you are an individual who opens and can open and can continue to open that door for people, which is amazing.
We're obligated to be honest with you. We're obligated to create that path for our kids, our grandkids, and the future generations, because if we don't do it, no one else will.
You're proof that one person can really lift up a community, right? Like even me, right? Not knowing you personally, when I was like, dude, like she's Mexican American and she's going to Congress, like that's awesome, right? Like,
thank you.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, because, right?
And I wish I was still there. And I wish I was still in Congress. I was so blessed to be in that position, and God has a special timing for everything. I do believe that I will be back in some way or form, back in a position like that. I really do, but it's all in God's timing. It's not in my timing. It's all in His timing. And so I've learned a lot throughout the years, and that comes a lot of wisdom and a lot of confidence in what we do.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, and so, no, I just commend you because you definitely are, it's kind of like a phrase, but it's true, like this beacon of hope for the people in the Valley, because they don't have that individual that's opening the door for them. It's a lot of talent, but if you don't know that person, it don't matter what you do. I don't care. You can work 7-8 hours a day. At the end of the day, if you don't know that person, that door's not going to open. I have people that they've worked so hard. They want to own a business, but yet they don't have someone to guide them with the right individuals.
Right.
So they got all this hard work.
Or the confidence to do it. I'll tell you a story. Just a few weeks ago, I was in Washington, and we were celebrating an organization, their 100th year. And this young boy came up to me, actually posted his picture on Instagram. And this young boy came up to me and said, "I'm from Far, Texas."
Awesome.
And he was like in early 20s. I said, "You're kidding me." He pulls out his license
That's
and
awesome.
shows me. And I'm like, "Yes, you are." He said, "You inspired me. I got into politics because of you. And I now work for the vice president's office."
There you go.
Can you believe that? From Far, Texas.
That is good.
This young boy. I was like, "You're kidding me." He said, "Yeah. I was inspired by you when you got to serve in Congress." And I said, "I also want to be involved." So I studied political science, and now I'm here in Washington working for the vice president's office.
That's awesome.
I know. That's what's rewarding.
That is really cool.
That's what's so rewarding, you know, when you see young kids from South Texas and Washington. And I want to see more of us up there.
No, I think that's awesome. You know, if we could give every family 2 gifts, right? One is the gift of the right information or the gift of the right network. Which one would impact their life faster?
Network.
Network?
Yeah, I would say network. Your connections are so important because through connections, you can learn a lot. You can gain so much knowledge from, you know, these individuals. It's who you surround yourself. You do need to surround yourself by people that are going to inspire you to do more. So be very careful who you surround with, because a lot of times like, "Oh, no, they're just my friends, but I don't do the same things that they do." Eventually it rubs on you. So it is important that you surround yourself, you know, by people that are going to inspire you to do more.
Good.
I do think that's very important.
So we obviously see there's a lot of new developments in the valley happening.
Yeah.
And they're happening fast. Do you think the valley people are positioned to benefit from those development opportunities? Or do you think a lot of the people from the valley are just sitting on the sidelines, just watching?
Majority are watching on the sidelines, just watching, and they shouldn't be. No one but the people of the valley should be taking advantage of that.
That's true.
And the problem is that the valley, the people from the valley, are not being prioritized. And a lot of these jobs are great, but they're not high-paying jobs. I want, you know, jobs that pay over $20 an hour to come here to South Texas. Because a lot of the jobs that are coming in, they're not jobs that pay that much.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but I do think that a lot of people benefit from us being poor. They don't. A lot of people don't want us to prosper.
I think.
You know, I don't know if you know this, but South Texas has one of the highest enlistings in the military. One of the highest. And why do you think our young boys and young girls, majority boys, enlist in the military? Because they want to get out of the valley. They want better opportunities. And so a lot of people benefit from us, you know, being poor, so we can keep up those enlisting numbers. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I want to see the valley prosper. I want jobs to come to South Texas, but I want good paying jobs to come here to South Texas. And that's what's very frustrating. I don't think the valley, like a lot of people in the valley, like know like how amazing and talented they are.
Exactly.
And their worth.
That's exactly right.
Because we have the ingredients to be successful. Unfortunately, we just don't have, I think we lack local leadership that puts the people of South Texas first, regardless of the politics.
I agree.
Because a lot of these positions, especially at the local level, are not political.
Yeah. I think a lot has to do with the lack of information,
Yes.
right?
And they take advantage of that. They take advantage that a lot of them are not well informed. And that's how they're able to put in place or sneak in local policies that only benefit the compadre
Yeah, no, I think that
and enrich themselves and not enrich our community. Because I'm all for we all want to be successful. We all want to be successful. But how can you consider yourself successful if the people that you represent is falling into poverty?
you know, there's this famous saying from like some slave back in like when Lincoln was president. They asked him, they're like, what do you want? And they're thinking, oh, he's gonna want freedom. And the slave tells him, give us land, right? And it's so true in real estate. Real estate is power. And the lack of the knowledge of real estate, I think a lot of people think it's unattainable, right? I've been very fortunate knowing what I know. And so for me, like my heart goes out to the valley, like tremendously. And so when I see someone like yourself reaching where you've reached, attaining that social capital, right? I'm like, dude, like the valley people, they need that.
We do need
right? That. And then also the hard work, right? I think about my grandfather. I'm like, dude, he could have easily owned so much more real estate, right? And I think like, people can have a debate all day, right? Like who's in charge? Here's in charge, right?
I think people need to look at the policies. And that's what